I mean, I think the biggest one is just objectivity, where just in poker you learn to trust the facts rather than trust your opinions, and I think that most people never get taught that, and the way in which you get taught it in poker is especially good for learning because every time you aren't objective, you're financially penalized for it, and it's just most people never experience that in their life. They can go through their whole life making countless irrational decisions, and they never really suffer the consequences. And in poker, all the guys that still have money have been able to kind of swallow their own pride and experience kind of the humility of, hey, I might be wrong here, this might be incorrect, and just the ability to kind of aggregate information and constantly reassess your opinions. I think that's something that unless you're self-employed or unless you're a poker player, a lot of times you just don't get to experience that, and how so many of your actions affect your own bottom line. So I think that helps a lot. I think in general, I think the way in which you manage risk in poker, I think, is quite useful for business, and I mean that almost more in the risk-seeking way than the risk-averse way. I think most people spend their whole lives trying to I read something recently on Twitter that I thought was kind of reasonable, where it's basically saying, your paycheck is your compensation for trading in your dreams for someone else's dreams. And I think that's really cruel, I suppose, but I think it's somewhat reasonable in that most people they're working to accomplish someone else's goals, and and that's what most people have been taught to do. You go the safe route and you build something that someone else wants built, basically. And it's in poker you're building what you want built, and when you're self-employed you're building what you want built, and you deal with the ups, you deal with the downs. And I think it's yeah, I mean, I think a lot of in poker a lot of poker players become so lazy. They don't respond to emails, they miss appointments, they can barely even book a flight. You have so little guidance, so few rules, that I think most of us, myself included, were far too lazy when they start doing that. But like, let's just say, if any poker player who's not sure what to do wants to hire someone that they're going to be working with tomorrow, where it doesn't matter, building a website, running a sandwich shop, whatever it is. It's like the moment that this starts, and this person is like dependent on your schedule, dependent on your punctuality, needs you to you need to answer their calls, deal with their emails, blah 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 blah. You're gonna become accountable quickly. I think a lot of poker players, they could think, oh, I want to become more of a grown up, I want to become more responsible, and then 5 years later they're doing the same shit. I think 1 month of you being responsible for other people and other people's kind of livelihood, depending on your work ethic and such, etc. And you grow up quick, and you kind of you can do a lot of the skills that most poker players lack, that most normal people have, I suppose. So I think for a lot of people, I guess my answer, if they want to transition out of poker and into something else, is just like move faster rather than slower. I think that a lot of people, they've taken their 3 years of trying to figure things out, or 8 years since Black Friday trying to figure things out, and it's just just kind of start doing something. And if 3 months in you realize that's not for you, hey, you've learned those skills from those 3 months, and go try something else. I just think action is a lot better than inaction.